This video is a general guide that will take you through the steps to fit a TA64D LongRanger fuel tank to a 2007 JK Jeep Wrangler 4-door diesel. So let's get stuck into it. We'll start by removing a few trim panels from the inside while we are still clean. Prop up the carpet under the seat for later on. Now down the back, remove the left-hand wheel arch flare and tail light. Raise the vehicle to a convenient height. If your model has a rubber weight welded to the inner side of the exhaust pipe, it needs to be removed to allow for the new fuel tank. Be careful not to cut a hole in the thin pipe when cutting it off. This can be re-welded on in a different location if required. Find the 16mm hard plastic filler breather hose near the left-hand spring and disconnect from the joiner by squeezing it tight. Temporarily remove the handbrake cables from the retainers and relocate the filler breather hose to be on top of the handbrake cables. Refit the cables when done. Disconnect the filler from the fuel tank and completely remove the steel extension tube and rubber bends at either end. Next, we will completely remove the remaining OE filler assembly. This will need to be cut from the vehicle after the bolt has been removed. Be sure to make the area safe from fuel and fumes while cutting metal. The mounting bracket will also need to be removed from the filler pipe by cutting the two small straps and prizing off. Remove the plastic joiner from the fast fill breather and place back in the quick release fitting. Back under the vehicle now, we will fit the heat shield. The back edge of the shield should line up with the inside of the elongated holes, while the front edge will be level with the front edge of the crossmember. Only the front will need to be drilled. The shield should also be parallel with the chassis. Onto some wiring now. We start by leaving a tail 300mm long past the crossmember. Run the wire along the left-hand chassis rail to just in front of the round support for the transmission protection plate. Drill a hole 105mm in front of the floor grommet, making sure you don't bugger the carpet. Fit the new grommet and pass the wire into the cabin. Onto a bit of plumbing now, and we'll start by fitting the link breather. Now we'll fit the sender unit to the tank with the screws and gaskets applied. This has already been set up in our factory and will only fit in one position. Fit the transfer pump to the pre-drilled mounting on the tank, ensuring the flow is towards the rear. Fit both the brass elbows to the pump with a suitable sealant. You'll have the inlet at 90 degrees to the tank and the outlet will be aiming towards the top rear corner of the tank. Fit the transfer hose to the pump outlet and the fitting in the filler with clamps applied. For convenience, you can also fit a male terminal to the pump's positive wire. We're now ready to fit the tank. Lift it up and support in place. The tank will be parallel with the chassis. You can measure 145mm at the front and 140 where it's a bit thicker at the rear. Check clearance all round and loosely fit the front left mounting bolt. Drill the rear right mount and loosely fit the bolt. Drill the remaining two holes on the right hand side and be careful not to drill through the handbrake cable. If your tank is further than 140mm from the chassis, it may contact the tail shaft with some suspension travel. Tighten all the bolts now that we're finished. Fit the 38mm filler hose to the auxiliary tank with clamps at either end, but don't tighten at this stage. Bend the body lip a little to allow for the new larger filler neck to fit in the small space. Remove the large filler breather vent from the filler neck by drilling the pot rivet out. Cut the end from the filler neck just above the 8mm system breather and retain the flanged screw thread. Deburr and clean it. This will be joined to the new filler shortly. With the flange face down on a flat surface, knock the nozzle restrictor out with a large socket or similar. This will allow filling with most larger high flow nozzles. Fit the 12mm fast fill breather and the system breather to the filler neck. Fit the screwed flange to the end with the new 51mm filler hose and clamp supplied. Ensure you have metal to metal contact when joining to keep the overall length to a minimum. Pass the filler up through the bodywork with the lower mounting bracket flush against and to the wheel side of the bodywork. Fit two lower rubber filler hose in the process, ensuring the filler is neatly in the grommet. Check the position of the 38mm rubber filler for correct overlap at either end and fasten both clamps. Fit the new 16mm filler breather hose to the breather vent and pass this up through the bodywork and mount onto the filler neck with a bolt and spring washer. Now push the 16mm filler breather down between the chassis and the body lip so it passes to the front of the spring tower. Push the hose in under and along the filler so it ends up at the back of the main filler. Use a blunt tool such as a ring spanner to assist. Lay the 8mm system breather along the chassis, also in under the filler hose. Pass the end down in front of the filler neck on the auxiliary tank. Now pass the 12mm fast fill breather hose along the chassis and down over the top of the filler neck on the auxiliary fuel tank. Position the filler, drill the hole through the lip and fasten in place. Fit at least 4 cable ties along this area, securing all the new hoses. Ensure they are not hanging out past the bodywork. We will now complete the work under the vehicle by connecting the new 16mm filler breather hose to the joiner from the main tank and the 12mm filler breather hose to the auxiliary tank. Now connect the main tank filler using the 32mm hose and then pass the 8mm system breather over the top and connect it to the main tank with a worm drive clamp supplied. We will now connect the pickup from the auxiliary tank to the pump inlet with a filter and hoses supplied. While we're still here, we can fit all the electrical terminals to the 3 core, ready to connect to the pump and sender, but don't connect them just yet. Back in the vehicle, locate a suitable position for the switch. Here, we measure across 25 and up 13. Drill a 20mm hole. We recommend consultation with the vehicle's owner if there is any doubt about the placement of the switch. Connect the wiring as per the diagram in the instructions. We have used the pink with a white trace wire as the 12-volt ignition power source. Connect the wiring to the fuel sender and transfer pump back under the vehicle and test the operation of the pump and the sender unit. We can now replace all the trim and tidy the area of fingerprints and offcuts of wire. Replace the tail light and clip the flare and inner guard back in place. We're just about there now, so make sure you've got clean hands and place the supplement in the owner's manual. And that's about it, guys. You can now detail the vehicle and hand the keys back to the owner.